and we have the ability for you to ask questions through the chat feature. So feel free to ask questions during, and also, any questions we can answer, we'll do so. So today we're talking about breezing through the holidays, a holiday spending guide. And wow, this is a really important time for a lot of people to think about what's going on in your budget for the holidays. So I'm glad that we're able to get some experts to give us some information and tell us how to plan ahead. So, all right, well, without further ado, thank you, Carla. Thank you, Manny, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to be here. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the PowerPoint here and get started and say hi. I am Carla Contreras. I am a community and financial education specialist here for Golden One Credit Union. I have been with the credit union for close to 7 years. Time flies. And I have a great passion for financial literacy, right? This is a little bit about me here. I was a first-generation college student, first-generation born here. So a lot of these things I learned through making mistakes, and that's why I think Manny can attest to this. We're so passionate about teaching financial literacy. I'm also a recent college graduate. I did attend Fresno State for a year, and for reasons I had to move to Pacific. So 2020 COVID graduate. You guys can do it if you're out there graduating this year. And I'm also a dog mom. I'm a mom to a little pug named Loki, and he's right there on the screen. So I'll go ahead and let Manny say hi. He's going to help me facilitate the chat and any questions. And as Adrian said, if you have questions, feel free to type them away.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Thursday. Like Carla mentioned, my name is Manuel Morfin. I am also a certified financial education instructor. We have the pleasure to work for Golden One Credit Union's financial education department by promoting and providing financial literacy to find people like yourself, not only in Sacramento and Fresno, but all of California. Right now, we're doing the whole digital gig where we're conveying financial literacy virtually to you. In the massive COVID, we were in your classroom, we were at nonprofits, spreading the good word of financial literacy. I'm going to be helping Carla DJ the event. She's the MC. I'm her sidekick. I'm going to be monitoring the chat. So if you have questions, please ask them, and that way I can convey them to Carla. The more questions you ask, the more eventful this webcast becomes. And trust me when I say that we learn a lot from you. So please share your knowledge with us, just like we're sharing knowledge with you. Thank you. Nice to meet you all.
So today we're going to go over breathing through the holidays, right? The holiday season can be very stressful. It can also break our budget, right? I don't know about you guys, but a lot of us overspend in the holidays. So throughout this webcast, we're going to go over maybe tips, tricks on how to be proactive this year. But if you didn't get a chance to be as proactive this year, don't worry. We're going to talk about ways to be more proactive next year. So maybe the things you didn't get a head start on today, and this 2020, you can for 2021. So I want to start by sharing with you all this really powerful, I think, statement. And it really resonated with me because I was here even a year ago. And it says the average American will get into debt around $1,000 during the holidays. So I want to go ahead and ask the question to you all. If you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but a simple yes or no. Are you all planning on using any credit cards this holiday season? Or any types of loans or anything that way to get you through your holiday spending?
We have one yes for me, and a whole lot of no's from the students.
I'm loving that the students, I love that you're all a little bit ahead of my financial knowledge when I was your age. But you know, for some of you that maybe said yes, or maybe plan on, even if you're not using credit cards, you might be maybe taking a little bit more from your savings, or you might be using a little bit more from your paycheck than you anticipated, right? It doesn't have to be credit. I see someone mention the Target Red card with the 5%, which is great. But, you know, sometimes the holiday debts, whether it be from a credit card or from our own accounts, can set us back a little bit from our financial goals. So going along those lines, I want to emphasize here how it works if you are planning on using holiday credit cards. 22% of individuals stated that they were still paying off their holiday debt 6 months after the holidays were over. I know 22% doesn't sound like a lot, but when you take how many Americans there are here in the US, that's quite a big number, right? We don't want to be that 22%, or we don't want to be the 22% that took money out of our savings for emergency, and now we're struggling to put it back later on in the year. Because I've done both for many holidays that I've been alive. So hopefully throughout this webcast, you all can get some insight. And if you all have any questions, I know I have a question regarding financing an auto loan. We can definitely connect on that after the webcast, and we'll go over some things with you as well. So let's start probably, I think this also resonates if you're a college student, right? I know with my homework and assignments, planning ahead and how it can really benefit you. So there's a couple of steps that I like to take on how to plan ahead for my holidays, or even any big spending that you might encounter. This kind of applies to everything. And it starts with three simple steps. The first one is making a list. And just like Santa, I expect you all to check it twice. You make that list, you check it twice. But the list isn't just about the people you want to buy gifts for. The list has to go a little bit more extensively, right? One of the tips that I like to do when I make my holiday list is assign a dollar amount you wish to spend per gift. And remember, your list is going to include other areas, not just the gifts, but perhaps you're going to be cooking this year. All of those additional expenses that are going to come with the holiday season. And then once you have that list, revise that list. Find areas in that list you can actually cut back on. Oh, sorry. Oh, what's going on? There we go. So now that you have a list and you have an amount that you need for the holidays, now is probably the most important step, which is saving. So if you didn't do this year, no worries. You now have the tools to get a head start for next year, right? Maybe next year you can start making your list a couple months earlier and start saving even sooner. But these are just tips to not only get you proactive this year, remember, but next year as well. So one thing that is a great tool and suggestion for you all to start saving is open a designated holiday savings account. So for example, Golden One has something called the Santa Saver where you put money in it and it's locked throughout the year so you can't touch it, and in November you get that money for Christmas shopping. It doesn't have to be with Golden One. You can start a saving in your own financial institution. But the key to this is making sure it's a separate savings, that's a locked savings probably that you can't touch, and that'll help you make sure that at the end of the year, you're not pulling from your monthly budget. I can definitely say that this year, a lot of us have maybe seen our financial situation change and shift a little bit. So the last thing you want to do is at the end of the year, be worried and nervous that you have to pull money from more important things. So with planning, I want to talk about planning for your shopping. Is anyone out there started their Christmas shopping yet? Are you guys done? How far are you guys? Are you close?
While we wait for the answers to populate, I'm going to give you a hard no for me. Not even thinking about it. We have no Richard. Yeah, we have Richard nearly done.
Yay,
Carol
applause.
Done. Wow. Joanna is on my ship. Haven't even started. Adrian says always shopping. Sam, not yet. Jenna, haven't started. And Josefina, almost. So I think we're more on the no side.
I can see the consensus. I think I'm in the middle. So because all of these things that I talk about come from my personal experience, honestly, of waiting last minute and ranking up my Macy's card. Up until last year, I'm very honest. That's why I created this workshop. Manny can attest to that. I learned through my mistakes to get a little better. And this year, even though I'm not as best as I should be with my finances and my Christmas shopping, I'm halfway. So I'm halfway better than I was last year. I know that normally the consensus, I saw somebody say they wait till the last week. So, I think a lot of us get really busy with life. And so one thing I want to challenge you all, I know Adrian mentioned he's always shopping. So a really good thing to do throughout the year, and I know it sounds silly, but you're going to thank me when Christmas comes, and I learned this from my grandma, is shop throughout the year for sales. And so this can be in July. If there's a huge sale on things and you find things super cheap, buy them and save them for the holidays, right? Also, plan your shopping around those big holiday sales. So if you know that Black Friday is going to be the best time for you to shop, as long as you align that in your budget, and we'll talk about budget a little later, use those days for sales. Use that time, you know, when you know you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Those are really good tips. And also start saving early on. You know, don't start November 15th. Start September, start August, start as soon as possible, even if it's $10 a check. The sooner you start, the less worried and the less managing and moving of money around you're going to have to do later on. I think I saw someone raise their hand, Manny, or did someone have a question? You guys can type it in the chat. I know I saw a raising hand that somebody could have just clicked. So I mentioned budget really briefly, and this is probably our favorite thing to talk about here in financial education at Golden One, but a budget is going to be your best tool for anything, even if it's not saving for the holidays, even if it's saving for any other thing like a car or paying tuition. A budget is going to be your best friend. And with any good budget, the most important part is setting limits. So setting limits on your spending and setting limits on how much you want to use of your money towards that purchase, and stick to those limits. Does anyone have a hard time sticking to those limits, or it can't be just me, right? I think I saw Maria raise her hand. Yes, that's the hardest part. And we're going to go in a couple more slides over tips to maybe stick to those limits and how to not go over those limits when shopping. But that's very important, right? We can tell ourselves, it's okay, I'm only going to spend 20, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be true. So I know Richard mentioned how he usually goes over $10 to $15. And yeah, you're absolutely right. We tend to do that, right? So it's very important to stick to those limits, and we'll go over a couple things that will maybe push us over the limit in another slide, and we'll talk about how we can be proactive.
We have a comment from Sam. If it's only you, but if you had a significant other, they may sway you or sway your spending, which can be the case for a lot of people. I know that was the case for my parents. My mom was stick to the budget. My father was like, what's another $50?
And you know, that's so true, Manny, because my mom was the same way, and my dad is this big spender. My mom always said he had a hole in his pocket, and I'm the same exact way. I had to learn to stop myself from doing that. But we talk about this a little later on the webcast as well. But honesty, having those honest, open conversations with those significant others in our lives about the situation. You know, sometimes it's just communication that's not there, and that can definitely help all parties stick to the limit. Because this budget isn't just a solo budget, it's your family's budget. So I'll take Manny, for example. Him and his wife will set this budget together. He won't set it and then just expect her to follow along. They're going to be honest and open so that they both come to a consensus and they both can agree. And Manny, I'll let you speak on this, but is that kind of what helps you and your spouse do this?
Yeah, we kind of set the tone. We get our list. We remove people from the list, and then we sometimes add them back on at the end, depending on how we do. But we fully agree on how much we're going to spend, where we're going to find the items before we even start. And sometimes that's why we wait a little bit longer in the year to start our shopping, because we haven't developed our game plan. We wait until a game plan to execute. Sometimes it backfires because, you know, life happens and we can't really come up with that game plan early enough in the year. But what does happen is that once we come up with that game plan, we stick to it, we don't deviate, and we spend as much as we expected, and hardly ever do we go above.
Thank you, Manny. And that's a great example, right, on how they do it together as a family. Because in order for you to create that holiday budget and stick to that, you're going to need everyone in your household that makes those financial decisions participate, right, and be on board. That will help a lot with those issues when maybe somebody else tends to overspend. So what tools can you use on your end to be proactive and making sure you're keeping track of how you're spending and when you overspend, or how to maybe stop it? Before we get into the stores, we're going to go over your account and what tools your financial institutions have or may have that will help you keep on track and make sure you're not going to end up like those 22% still paying off debt, or perhaps not even knowing how much debt you've accrued. So we're going to go over tools on how to be a smart shopper. The first one, and probably the biggest one, is a budgeting calculator. And remember, this can be separate than your monthly budget, which you should already have, but there's amazing tools and resources either online or on your financial institution website. Our wellness portal, which will be linked at the end, has amazing budgeting calculator tools. Manny can type that website on the chat for you all. So if you don't want to do old school pen and paper like me, I get laughed at by my coworkers of how much notes I take all my life, but there's amazing budgeting calculators that will help you create a budget by typing in, you know, all the information you need and helping you follow that. Another great app, which I actually use all the time, is things like card controls. So what card controls does, and it can be named differently in different financial institutions, is it allows you to actually manually turn on and off your debit or credit cards. And I don't know about you all, but this is like a little conscience here that's like, don't use your card for me. So I always turn off my credit card if I don't want to overspend with it, which is a fantastic tool and resource to use so that you don't tend to, you know, use that or swipe that card more than you want to. Another thing I recommend everyone being very proactive. If you don't already proactively do this, you probably should start, but even more so with the holidays for a lot of reasons, and that's account monitoring. I hope you all answer yes to this, but all of you have your online banking set up, right? Or mobile banking. It is extremely important. I hope I get a million yeses to this, Manny, because it not only helps you monitor your spending, but during the holidays, as we mentioned in the last presentation, if you didn't join us, we talked about scams. Scams can increase during the holidays quite a bit. So account monitoring in the holidays will not only help you keep track of your spending, but it also makes sure that you're not, you know, susceptible to fraud or scams and you're keeping track of everything. So use account monitoring to the best of your advantage. And one of those tools that you can use on there is account alerts. Does anyone out there know what account alerts is, or do they have them set up? Bonus points if you have account alerts set up.
We have a no, we have a yes. Sam said yes.
Bonus points for Sam.
Richard, yes. Jenna, yeah. Nubia, yeah.
I love it. I don't normally get so many yeses, so you all get bonus points because account alerts are very important and they are so useful. If you haven't set up, no big deal. It's, you know, whenever you guys get around to it, but the sooner the better because this helps keep you on track. It's like, I always think of it like when your parents kind of nag you, like, hey, did you do your homework? Hey, did you do this? That's what the account alert in my mind does is, hey, Carla, you spend too much. Why are you going to Marshall's? Why did you spend $50 on Marshalls? You can set up the alert for whatever amount you want. So if you don't want to spend more than $50 on your card in a transaction, you can set it up for it to alert you anything over 50. You know, everybody's alerts are going to be a little bit different. It can also alert you on, I see Richard said, if fraud, yeah, you can get alerts for weird transactions. If you get very large transactions, account alerts can help you in so many ways. So if you haven't set it up, that's a great thing and a great tool to help keep you on track, to manage your expenses, to not go over, and to also, as Richard mentioned, you know, if you get a transaction that's not yours, you know, normally weird transactions do alert you.
Hey,
And
Carla, how can they set up alerts if they haven't done so already?
So alerts is usually set up through your online or mobile banking. It's really easy. You log in. Normally you click on the checking account, or there's always a tab that says alerts. I know for Golden One, it's a whole separate tab. Other financial institutions normally have a tab that say alerts, and you can set up either text alerts or email alerts. I haven't seen phone call alerts in a long time that you can set up. I think normally it's now emails or text, but it's usually done through your online or mobile banking. It takes 2 minutes, maybe, if that, super simple, and you can customize it, which is the coolest part. Everybody's alerts are going to be different. So maybe I'm spending a little bit more, so I want to set it for 100. Maybe you want to set it for 20. You can set the alerts for more than just spending. You can set it alerts for if you get deposits, if you get electronic transactions, so many different things you can set alerts for. That not only helps you with your spending, but like I think Richard mentioned regarding fraud and things like that. Another tool that is revolving, no problem, Graciela, our pleasure. Another tool that you can use, which again, I use this one quite a bit, especially if you're planning on using your credit cards this holiday season, is Credit Sense. It might be called differently depending on where you bank in your financial institution, but the gist of Credit Sense is it's basically a tool connected to your online mobile banking that allows you to review your credit history, kind of like Credit Karma. So it'll give you a credit score, it'll give you your open lines of credit, your balances, how you're doing, like a little financial checkup on your credit. And this is great to know because sometimes if you tend to overspend on the holidays in your credit cards, it can affect your credit score. That's a big issue sometimes with overspending on credit. So understanding our credit score and knowing where we stand, our credit is so vital to important financial goals, right? Maybe you want to purchase a vehicle. Maybe after you graduate, you want to purchase a home. So making sure our credit is in good standing is very important. Does anyone use any type of credit monitoring service already?
We have a no so far.
And it's okay if you don't, you know, and there's many ones. Like I see somebody mention Experian. There's not just one, there's definitely a lot. Some credit cards offer you a monthly FICO score with your statement. Some people have Credit Karma. Some people have all kinds of different things. But regardless, it's a great thing to review your credit score. Manny can type in a website, annualcreditreport.com, where you can get one free credit report a year, a comprehensive full credit report. Most times Credit Karma and them aren't as comprehensive. So checking your credit at least once a year comprehensively is very important, but using apps like Credit Sense, Credit Karma, I saw some people mention Discover, are vital to understanding where our credit falls. Because we know here credits, you know, you need it for everything. So Manny dropped that in the chat in case anyone's interested. It's a place to check your credit report for free once a year. So let's talk about ways to maybe save some money on presents. We talked about all these ways to prepare ourselves to not overspend, but let's get crafty. If anyone wants to share when we go through this slide what you guys are really good at doing, let me know on the chat. So what do I mean by that? I mean what it means, you know, getting crafty, making your own gifts. The holidays don't necessarily need to mean buying very expensive presents. Sometimes the most important presents come from the heart. So are you good at something? I'm going to be honest right now, the people that know how to sew and make masks are probably getting really rich. I don't know how to sew, so I'm constantly buying masks on Etsy or from people that sell them. So kudos to them. I wish that was a skill I knew right now. But there's a lot of things that sometimes we know how to do and that we're really good at that can be gifts. Another one is baking. If you're a great baker or if you're a good cook, I'm going to be honest, and maybe Manny can attest, I'd rather get a dozen tamales than a present because that will feed me for like 3 days for lunch. So remember, there's a lot of things that we can do for other people. Maybe you can do a bake sale with your family, you know, if times are a little tougher, or maybe you're looking to save money this year. There's a lot of things and a lot of ways that you can do free things during the holidays. Is anyone there really good at something? Do you have a skill that you can totally use for a holiday gift?
Sam seems to be very talented in the sense that she can make chocolate covered cherries and strawberries. And then she usually will gift these items, which I think would be awesome.
See, oh my gosh, that I am so hungry now. That sounds so good, chocolate covered strawberries. And you know how expensive those are, Sam? If you go to the store and buy them, like at your grocery store, they're extremely expensive. So having a skill like that you don't think is worth much, go and check out how much they cost for sale. Yeah, and you know, gift them to your family. Somebody mentioned baking. Yes, if you know how to make cookies, I will gladly take cookies over material things any day. Or tamales. In Boston, when they cost one for $3. See, right there, we can do a lot of things, right? That we can gift us gifts. I see Jenna mentioned tax returns. Oh my gosh, people pay a lot of money for that.
That's a good one.
I like that one. See, we all have hidden talents that we might not know about that we can gift as a gift. Another one that I didn't think about until I started researching this is services. I know tax returns is a good service, but maybe you have a family member who's not as capable of cleaning because something's going on in their lives. Maybe you can give them a service of, you know, once a week, I'll go help you out for a couple of weeks. There's a lot of other services that we can do for people, right? That is absolutely free. Anyone else want to drop anything else in the chat?
Richard has a haircut machine. Oh no, a circuit machine, and he can make decals as gifts.
Oh, that is cool. Richard, send me a pug decal for my car.
That's a good one. People are love to put stickers on
Yes.
on their items like thermals and other water bottles. And then Graciela said chocolate covered strawberries is some of the ideas I have in the last year or so. Dog stickers are life.
Yes.
Richard said, yeah.
I love it. You know, these are some great ideas. I know that if you look at like those decals Manny showed you, stickers are so expensive. So customizing it not only means more to that person you're gifting it, but that's a gift that can cost quite a bit of money. So yeah, I'm loving all of these ideas. I saw tamales on there. You can never go wrong with that. Or if you make some really good lasagna or casserole, send them my way. But see, there's a lot of things we can do for people that are crafty, that come from the heart, and that you don't have to overspend. So now that we talked about what we can do, let's talk about the big elephant in the room, right? Which is stores and how they work and how we can maybe overspend and what we can do to avoid that. Did we get I think we got another chat there.
Yeah, Christmas ornaments, which should come in handy nowadays. I saw one on Pinterest not too long ago where it was custom Christmas ornaments, and this particular one had little bottles of alcohol for those who are 21 and older, of course, right? And you literally just add that little hook that goes on top of the sphere, and then you gift that in a pack of 3.
That
or 4 or 10, depending on the person, right?
You can even, you know what you can do, Manny, to like, I know for me, I would love to see like a makeup in there. So like maybe you can do one Graciela with the lipstick in there. Oh, that would be so neat.
That would be pretty popular, I think.
Right? See, guys, there's so many great ideas, and I hope you all are inspired and go make your awesome holiday gifts, and then shoot me an email with the pictures because I need to see these. I know, Sam, right? Somebody put lipstick or a mascara tube. Oh, I'm going wild now. I'm going to start making all my gifts this year. So now that we're going to talk about brick and mortar shopping, and I know this year might be a little less, so we'll talk about online shopping as well. But let's talk about the stores, right? Because those are the ones that tend to entice us quite a bit. I have gotten so many emails right now about all of the holiday sales. Oh boy, let me tell you. So many emails, and I don't know about you guys, but apparently Black Friday starts like a week early now because everyone's telling me online on these emails that it's already going on. And many times I was very tempted to make these purchases throughout the week and put things on the cart. But I always have to remind myself I need to stay on track. Is it on my list? Or do I just want it because it's cheap and it's cute and I'm getting all these emails? So a little trick that I like to do, and we'll go over that in the online shopping, but example, if you're at a store, is, you know, maybe like Manny mentioned, him and his wife have a plan. What stores are you going to visit? Go in there with your list and stay on track. Sometimes those impulse buys, because it's a really good sale, can throw us really, really off track. So bringing your holiday shopping list, nowadays we can all carry it on our phone. And definitely, you know, start early, shop when you have plenty of time. The more rushed you are, the more likely you are to make those impulse buys and just get things quickly off racks and not make those good informed decisions as consumers. If you're comfortable with it, you can maybe give yourself a limit with cash. So if today you're buying presents that are only going to be $100, maybe you can take just the $100 with you. If you're not comfortable with that, maybe you can load up like a card or your Apple Pay with 100, and that's it. That's all you're going to spend. So understanding those limits and, you know, not overspending. Oh, Manny, that comment, that is so you too.
Yeah, Costco is my weakness. Nubia, I totally relate to that. When I go to Costco, I have to ask myself 3 questions before I put an item in the cart. Do I need it? Do I need it now? What happens if I don't get it? So most of the time I talk myself out of an item. Last time I went, I was trying to buy a humidifier / vaporizer when we already have one of each, but this one was a dual one, right? I'm like, we can use this. It's winter. So I asked myself, do I need it? Yeah. Do I need it now? It was a no. What happens if I don't have it? Nothing. I'll be okay.
I love those 3 questions. I ask myself this all the time at Marshalls, because if you guys are like me and love Marshalls, there is so many things that you don't need that you want to buy. So Manny will drop in those 3 questions on the chat, because I think those 3 questions are going to help all of us when we're tempted to buy something we don't need. I'm going to tell you what I did earlier this morning, and I didn't buy it. I'm proud, but I got an email from Bath and Body Works, and I don't care. I'm obsessed with their candles, and they're on sale. I already have like 2 right now. One's lit right now in my house, and I put them in the cart, and I asked myself that too, Manny. I was like, oh, do I need them? No, you have to. Do you need them now? No, you can wait. What's going to happen if you don't get them? Well, nothing. So those are 3 questions that are such great tools to take with you with a lot of spending decisions. I think once you answer those questions, you're going to definitely realize it's going to help you stay on track. So Manny dropped those in there in the chat if you guys all want to save those.
Full disclosure though, if you buy something at Costco and you completely regret it, you can return it, no questions asked.
I like that. I like that. But remember, guys, not every place has that awesome Costco return policy. So be very careful. And we're actually going to talk about return policies right now on our internet shopping slide. But we'll get to that. First, internet shopping. So with internet shopping, very dangerous. Manny has seen the pictures I've sent them of my Amazon boxes in my house. Remember your list. Even if it's online, keep that shopping list with you. And don't forget the shipping cost, because I know someone earlier said they sometimes spend more than $10 over budget on their gift. You need to do the shipping cost, and you need to calculate that with the amount of price you want to spend per person if you're going to do online shopping. And always check the return policy, like Manny mentioned, because if you purchase from a store that has a very terrible return policy and that gift does not work for whatever reason, or even a regular purchase, you're gonna be out that money. Another thing we want to make sure is with any website you're going on online, there's 2 golden rules to follow to make sure it's a safe website. And that is when you type in on the website, remember that it has to have the HTTPS. When there's an S, it means it's a secure website. And when there is a little lock at the very end of the screen, that also means that is a secure website. So be very careful with that. And I see that somebody posted, remember, stores will always have a different sale. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. If you don't have the funds right now to make a purchase and you're struggling or maybe taking out of your savings, there's always going to be another sale next week or next month. It's always going to be there. Jenna, we'll go ahead and have Adrian let you know about that recording. I know he is recording and he can, I'm not sure if he's going to send it out or he's going to do with it, but we can definitely have Adrian connect with you on the side to go over that question with you.
Yeah, I can just jump in real quick. After the webinar today, we are recording it. We'll post it on our website, on our YouTube channel. So we'll go ahead and do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adrian. So with the safety of the website, another thing is to make sure they have a good customer service number or a way to contact them in case you have any questions or concerns about your product. And as I mentioned, only purchase from secure sites. The holidays is a big one for scams, and sometimes a lot of these places will pose as companies and they really aren't. So just be very careful. Sometimes it helps to use a credit card online for additional safety versus a debit card. My credit card is my designated online shopping card that I use, but of course, making sure I don't overspend and all of those good choices. Another thing that I don't know if it's on here, but I want to talk to you guys about, because this happens to me all the time, is be aware of those tactics like buy more, save more. So a lot of times if you spend $75, you get free shipping, but you really went on the website to just spend $25. I am notorious for refusing to pay shipping, and I will most times overspend. And I've learned throughout that most times I can just pay the shipping and end up saving quite a bit more money. So that's a big one to watch out for. I didn't have it on here, but that's a huge one. That buy more, save more. Sometimes if you buy 4 or 5 of these things, they come out $1 cheaper. Then you end up overspending $15. So always, I say that because earlier I wanted a soap for Bath and Body, and if you buy 1, it's $7, but if you buy 5, they're $5, but now I'm spending 20. So always, make sure that you don't, if you need the extra stuff, great. But if you don't, that can be a big way, an area to overspend.
If I can add something to that, Carla, in particular, when it comes to clothing, sometimes when you buy clothing, some stores will state something like hassle-free returns, and it is relatively hassle-free. Well, they'll give you like a shipping label, but they will charge you for the shipping label or have you return the item at the store if they have a brick and mortar store, but some of the stores are closed because of COVID, or they may have a long line or limited locations. So if you want to do a little bit more homework, a little bit more research, find out what the return policy is and how that's going to go about.
Yep, that's a great point. And I think because times are a little bit different now, we don't always think about it. I know for a while, Target wasn't taking any returns on clothes, and they still might not be, not sure. So if you're making a purchase of clothing or something, you can't return if something goes wrong with it or doesn't work out, you might be out that money. So another thing to be careful, especially during the holidays and right now, with things being a little bit different. Gift wrapping is another area I wanted to touch on real quick lastly here in our holiday workshop, because this is an area that a lot of us tend to overspend. Wrapping paper, gift wrapping, it's very expensive and it's always overlooked. No one adds this to their holiday spending budget. But for each present, you end up spending about $2 on the gift wrapping. So if you have 10 presents, that's already $20, right? Quite a bit of money can go on gift wrapping. So one of the things that I like to encourage all of you and challenge you all is to use things you have around the house. And what do you mean by that? Maybe some cool newspaper. I've seen people wrap presents with the comic section of the newspaper, and it looks so vintage and it looks so awesome. Another thing people do instead of buying expensive boxes that you need to put clothes in is use things you have at home, like old cereal boxes or even those delivery boxes you get from Amazon or whatever you purchase. Save those boxes so that you don't have to buy those expensive boxes at the end of the year, because they tend to cost more because they know they can charge more because it's the holidays. A lot of gifts require us to put in boxes before we wrap them. So saving those boxes is great. If you're gifting baking goods and stuff, buying cute little dollar store containers to put them in can save you some money. But use what you have around the house and be proactive. A really fun one, and I don't know if you guys might find these, but my dad is an interstate truck driver. Before the days of GPS, they used to have these big atlases that were these little maps that opened up humongously. And he had so many because he went to all the different states, so he had one for each state. And using these, if you have stuff like this around the house for gift wrapping, it just looks so cool. I've seen people do this and it looks really awesome. So things like that we don't even consider or think about can be used as really cool, vintage things. So
if I can add, I'm sorry, Carla, if I can add to that, in my household, my siblings and I, there's 4 of us all together. And we every year have a competition of who can wrap a gift the ugliest, the most hideous way to wrap a gift. So we go out of our way to make our wrapping look like trash, like almost like a dumpster fire wrapping, right? So that's what we do. And then our family gets to vote who has the ugliest wrapping, and then we made it a competition. It all started with just using textbooks and printed essays and stuff like that. So maybe you can start a tradition with using some of the stuff that you already have around the house.
Manny, everyone's going to start using their graded papers from Fresno State. I love it.
We do have a couple comments here. Walmart does not take returns on clothes. I did not know that. Thank you, Graciela. Mm-hmm. And then Sam says they use paper grocery bags sometimes.
Those where I shop at my local grocery store, they give me those brown paper bags. And one side has a logo, but the other 3 don't. So if you go to stores like craft stores, buying that type of paper, because people like to wrap gifts with this because it looks really cool and vintage, they are very expensive to buy that brown paper bag paper, like at a craft store. And so if you keep those, you can wrap it with that and then put like a cheap, buy a bow, ribbon that you can cut into a lot of pieces and put a cute ribbon on it. I love that too, that wrapping, ugliest wrapping. That is such a fun game, it sounds like. Oh, Nubia said she's going to win, Manny. She's going to send you a picture of hers. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And going along the slide, computer paper, like Manny said, essays, textbooks, not the textbooks you guys need, guys, please. Those very, very, very old ones, like the ones I have back from City College from like 8 years ago, that don't work anymore. Don't use your good textbooks because they're very expensive. And shopping or supermarket bags. I think Sam got ahead of us and he's like super genius, but absolutely true. Use those. Like I know some stores give you really nice bags, like Victoria's Secret's pink bags are super cute. There's a lot of stuff that we can use that we have around the house. I am Hispanic. I don't know about you guys, or I don't know if it's Hispanic, but everyone in my family recycles birthday bags and gift bags. So my closet is full of them, and I just gifted a gift to another member of my family from the same bag they gifted me last month, which was really funny. I recycle. I keep them. I keep Christmas bags. I keep all of that. Anything I can do to save a couple bucks, it adds up. And last but not least is holiday cards. This is another area where you can show your artistic skills. If you have an artist in your family, or if you're an artist yourself, even if you're not, but you know how to put stuff together, Christmas cards are very expensive. Very expensive. So making your own card or newsletter, it's going to save you a lot of money if that's something you do in the holidays, things we don't think about. I get a lot of Christmas cards from people in the mail, and let me tell you, they look fancy, and I'm sure they're very expensive. You can also send cards electronically this year to your loved ones, right? COVID has us doing everything electronically. But definitely those Christmas cards save money on there. I know I have a couple of people in my family who are beautiful. I mean, they draw beautifully. And if someone sends me a drawn picture of a pug, I mean, you win Christmas in my book. If you guys want to send me a Christmas card with a pug, I'm all for it. So remember those cards, you can also save money there because that's a big holiday expense we don't think about. We always think about the gifts, right, Manny? But we don't think about all the little things. We didn't even cover food, guys. If you're going to cook this year, you got to put all of that in your holiday budget, all of it. And trim that mailing list. If you have a lot of people you send cards to, go back and review that. Maybe you're spending too much on sending just so many cards, or do it electronically. Saves you a lot of money there. So finally, to conclude with this, and it ties with everything we've talked about, is honesty. I know some of you have mentioned about family members maybe not being on board, and I can definitely tell you a lot of my family used to be that way. But just having that open and honest communication about the holidays, right? The holidays aren't about buying the most expensive gift and not buying each other. Manny's idea of that ugly wrapping to me is the meaning of what Christmas is, right? Just having fun and not worrying about how things look or how perfect or expensive they are. It's about laughing with those around you and remembering that, right? Some of my favorite memories are making food with my grandma. Just 2 days ago, she's like, bring me a olla, that's a pot, and she stuffed it with pozole. And I told her, okay, that's my Christmas present. I mean, just give me a pot of pozole. So, it's those little things that, go beyond the real meaning of Christmas, the real meaning of the holidays, whatever holiday you celebrate, right? Because it doesn't have to be just Christmas. Any holiday you celebrate, if you find yourself overspending, definitely speak with your family, right? Have that open communication. And as times change and difficulties can happen during different times, you have to learn to adapt. Right? We have to learn to adapt and adjust, and our budgets will change, and the amount we can save and buy presents are going to change. I'm going to be honest, this year, most of my family, we talked about it. Our presents are either going to be very, very low cost or none at all. And we're all, believe me, all of us, it doesn't matter to us, right? So adapting during the holidays or anytime in your life, right? Many of you are having difficulties or things aren't where they usually are. We're humans. We're going to adapt, and our families are going to be there with us along the way. I want to leave you all with just this other very impactful chart here on how people still haven't paid off their credit card debt that they accrued last holiday season. And you can see that as the years go by, so does the amount of people that state this. This year, I recently researched that more people are planning to buy presents with credit cards than ever before, because unfortunately we've seen what's happened with employment. But I want to tell you all to be very careful, because that's not what the holidays are about. So if you're going to get into a lot of debt for that, be very wise about the decisions you make, because you don't want to be paying off last year's Christmas presents, that from 2020 and 2021. We want to just finished 2020, right? This was done. So I want to thank you all and leave it open now for questions, suggestions, comments, any tips and tricks that you all use. I would love to hear. I've heard some great ones. And I'm going to leave this QR code here with you all to scan on your phone. And if you guys want to check out our amazing portal that Manny also linked, please feel free to. We have great resources, a lot of fun stuff, podcasts, webinars, videos, you name it. We make the podcast in-house. Sometimes you'll hear our voices. You're going to hear them a lot more in the future. A lot of cool stuff. And if you want to add anything to that, Manny.
Sorry. Yeah. But other than providing financial literacy like we are right now, we do manage a web page on the Golden One website, and that page is dedicated to your financial well-being. We not only have a way where you can register to a live webcast. You can access podcasts if you are a podcast person, if you like to listen to things on the go. Like Carla mentioned, half of those newly created, or actually half of those podcasts are created in-house. So the later half of them are Golden One employees speaking about relevant topics, car buying, college, you name it. We have videos if you want a quick refresher. And my favorite one out of all would be the interactive modules, like video games, but not like Fortnite or any of those other Super Mario Kart cool videos. But they are interactive modules, self-paced, and they literally cover every aspect of financial literacy. So if you're like, oh my God, I'm going to buy a car in about half a year. I need to brush up. I need to level up on my knowledge on how to buy a car, new car, used car, whatever. It's all there for you. And it's a financial literacy buffet in the sense that you go and you consume what you want. You leave and you come back again when you need some more, and we don't collect any personal information. You just go in there, take what you need, leave, and come back. There's no email, password, or anything like that required. So it's just for you. The difference between our website and a website like YouTube, where you can absorb a lot of knowledge, is that we update our webpage on a monthly basis. So all of our information is up to date. And with the exception of just wanting to give you financial literacy, that is our only goal.
Definitely. So check that out. Thank you guys all for having me. I'll let Adrian go ahead and close everything up.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you again, Manny and Carla. Wow, great information, a lot of fun, a lot of good discussion. At this time, if anyone wants to ask some questions before they leave today, you enter it into the chat. I'm also putting in the chat right now a survey link. Let's see here. Let me make sure I put it in here. Yeah, there it is. Of today's webinar. So if you can get some feedback on how they did, Carla and Manny, and the information they presented, and future topics you'd like to see the Money Management Center host, that would be great too as well. So definitely want to do that. And also I just want to gear everyone towards the Money Management Center. We do have the ability, oops, I don't know what happened to my video, turned off for some reason. Here we go. We do have the ability for students to meet with Bulldog financial coaches, which are peers on campus that have been trained in financial resources and information and tools to provide you. So go to www.fresnostate.edu/money center. And that way you can, set up appointment and talk to, and I'll put it in the chat right now. You can talk to one of the Bulldog financial coaches. And then finally, we do have a website as well, similar to Golden One's portal for financial wellness tools that we subscribe to at Fresno State, that you have access to 24/7, using your Fresno State credentials to log in. And it's called Unleashed is the website. And again, you can go to our Money Center's website, the Money Management Center, and you can access it there as well. So any other questions before we go? I learned a lot too. I was actually listening, obviously, but then I went into my online banking and changed some of my alerts. That was kind of cool. So I did that right away. Yeah, thank you. All right.
If I can add to that, if you have push notifications for TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, you need to get those push notifications and text message notifications for your money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's right. I agree. Good one. So this is a great topic. It's very timely today, and what we've done, and all the cool stuff and traditions too that Ugliest presents too is pretty cool.
I love it.
I like that. That's a lot of fun. All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions, then everyone have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Thank you all. Thank you so
Bye.
much.